How long have you been confused by men's words and actions? In today's modern dating world, do men feel even more head spinning to you than ever before? I promise you, even though we are complex, we're not impossible to figure out. Which is why on today's special weekend episode, we're going to be discussing your relationship and dating questions about men. That way, you can finally understand how men operate and, even more importantly, avoid making the same mistakes, horrific mistakes, that others did. Okay? Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and actively paying attention. You know it's the weekend, so there's a lot going on. I want to make sure you're really focused in and locked in here. Okay, we're going to go deep today. How are you guys doing on this weekend? It feels a little bit strange to know it's the weekend for me and you, but like we're here today. You know what I mean? We gotta gauge today how you guys feel about seeing me on the weekend, because I know it's usually part of your regular schedule, but I'm sure some of you are probably able to join the show that regularly can't when we're not on the weekend. So welcome to all of you. I see, shout out to the first person who was in the chat today. It was Ivy, or no, I said it was Ivy. Ivy and Ashley are like the same person to me. It was Ashley who was the first one in the YouTube chat today. So welcome, Ashley. We have Ivy, our channel member, here as well. I see Arena, Kayla, Nikisha West. Okay, I see who else is up in here? Base Beauty's up in here. Is Enlighten A here? I think I saw Enlighten A's name as well. Okay. Tracy Niles is here as well. And I believe I saw Anitra, maybe. Okay, welcome all of you people. Madison is here. I do see Madison. Welcome all you beautiful people in the YouTube chat. I see Scotty here. I see Charisse here. I see Maria here. Is SH here? SH, please make yourself known if you're here. I see Faith here, Melina here, Jocelyn here. Good to see that you guys are joining me on this beautiful Saturday. I love seeing all you beautiful souls. Now, obviously, you guys know today is a special episode, so we're going to be hopping right into the Discord for Discord time and asking your question. So please, if this is your chance, please, if you haven't asked your question, go into the Discord right now. And if you're on TikTok, go into the link in my bio and ask your question there. Or if you're on YouTube, go into the pinned comment and ask your question there. Obviously, we got 2 hours of answering questions. So we got a lot to get through, a lot of situations. Get ready for a roller coaster of emotions here that we're going to be having, because you're going to experience some things. You're going to go through. You're going to go through some things today. OK, so get ready for that. All right. So make sure you send in all your questions. All right, let's hop right into it. You know, we can't hop right into it until we do the intro. We're going to do the intro. Okay. So tell me, do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? Now tell me now. Do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? Now tell me now, chat. Do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? Now tell me now, chat. Do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? Okay, now tell me what time it is. Please tell me what time it is. I want to know, chat. Please tell me what time it is. I want to know what time it is. Now tell me now, chat, what time it is. Now tell me now, chat, what time it is. I want to know now, chat, what time it is. I want to know what time it is. You better spam in the chat what time it is. You better spam in the chat what time it is. You want to spam in the... Discord time. Yeah, it's Discord time. Okay, chat. We're about to hop into the Discord. For those of you, because I know there might be some of you that are new here, this is our Players Club Discord where we all get an opportunity. Well, you guys get an opportunity to ask me your relationship and dating questions in the Discord, and I answer them live on the show, and the chat gives their 2 cents as well. Okay, so everyone participates. That's why it's very important to be participating and paying attention. So we're going to go through a bunch of these today, and we'll see how this goes today. We'll see where life takes us today on this journey of Discord time for 2 hours. Okay, so first we have here today we have Data Queen. Okay, so Data Queen starts off by saying, "Did he lie about everything?" Oh, interesting. Okay, Data Queen says, "I met a guy I thought was great. I'm 28. He's 41. Is that like that's a good age gap, guys? I don't know. What's a good age gap for men and women? I don't know. He did everything right from the beginning. He even came to save me when my family birthday fell apart, and there he was ready to swoop in." Does he have kids? He's 41. Let's go on. "He plans amazing dates and pays for everything, even my Ubers." I mean, I'm assuming he has a big boy job. He's 41. "However, I noticed a pattern. When I declined his advances for pineapples, he goes MIA for days." That's not a good sign, Data Queen. You should be putting down that as your data in your spreadsheet, because if you're analyzing that data, that should be telling you some really bad things. "I messed up and broke the silence by asking him for the address of a place he reserved for us last week." That was just to be petty. Like, were you trying to imply that, oh, I'm going to go there on a date with someone else? It's just silly. You shouldn't have done that. You know that, though. "He sent me the address and everything, but technically this was me confirming the date. I shouldn't need to do that." Oh, wait, what? Okay, so he planned a date with you. And then in the process of him kind of going MIA for days, you broke the silence and asked him the address of the place that he had planned the date for you. Is that what you're saying? Because you said he sent you the address, but technically this was you confirming the date. And I shouldn't need to do that. You shouldn't. "The date was amazing. He did most of the talking and opened up to me a lot about his the family stress he's under. Okay. "His business and plans to move abroad. He said he wants me to come with him." Sounds good in a teen drama. Okay. Be a pretty inappropriate teen drama if the man was 41, but sounds good in a movie. However, him moving away, you really have to start thinking to yourself, or is it possible for you to have a long distance relationship with this guy, knowing how much he cares about pineapples clearly? These are the type of things you have to be. Yes, I heard someone say it in the chat one time, and I loved when someone said it. They said, love is also logistics. So if that's not logistically feasible for you, being with this man, specifically this man, and then also just in general, you having this, depending on where he moves, whether it be to a different country, a part of town, a different city, if that doesn't realistically work for you, and that's not something you're willing to deal with or can deal with in this relationship, don't waste your time. You understand? "I said I wouldn't leave the country for someone without a serious promise." Okay, so you're basically identifying this, like, I can't work with this, with me moving, like, this has to be for real. "He says it's too soon for him to propose to you, so now you guys are in between a rock and a hard place. You're not going to move unless it's serious, and he's saying it's not that serious yet to me. I said, yes, I agree, I wouldn't want you to. Since it was date 6, I did want to see his apartment." Chat, you should know by now, whenever you go over to his place, it's usually when things go downhill, especially if you don't go there with the mindset that I'm not drinking, I'm not going to put myself under any sort of influence or temptation that will lead to me making a bad decision. Okay. We went to his place after dinner and shared a nice dessert and chatted a bit. What about wine? That's it. I pushed his hand away when he got too close to my upper thigh. That was 4 days ago. He hasn't talked to me since. I wonder why. All this talk about us being in a relationship, he asked me to be his girlfriend on the 3rd date. Probably because he thought that would make the process of him being able to sleep with you go by faster. Let's just be so for real. And he's probably coming to the understanding that because see, I always tell you guys, the moment you start expressing to a guy exactly what you want from him, it's not that communication is bad, but you have to understand that just motivates the guy to do exactly what you want so that he can receive from you exactly what he wants to receive from you. And so in this scenario, right? What's your name here? Let me see what your name is. Data Queen. In this scenario, as soon as you tell him how you only are prepared to move yourself just in general and emotionally for a guy who is actually taking you seriously, now exactly what does he do? He tries to make it seem like he's taking this relationship super seriously. And so within the first couple of months, within the first couple of dates, literally the third date, he's already asking you to be his girlfriend because he wants to make you feel as if he's taking this as seriously as you want it to be if you're going to be investing yourself in a guy. There you guys go. There's your liquid ASMR. And you guys can guess. Someone said, what's in here? Take a guess. Okay. That was 4 days ago. He hasn't talked to me since. All this talk about being in a relationship, he asked me to be his girlfriend on the third date, talking about moving abroad. Yet it disappears and silently protests when he doesn't get the validation he wants, meaning sleeping with you. I'm not sleeping with anyone after knowing them only 1 month. The mask comes off around the second month. You are a smart cookie, Data Queen. He couldn't even keep the mask on. Does this mean he was just using me or trying to, or is he trying to bait me into chasing him? What should I do when he reaches back out? Okay, Data Queen, you're a pretty smart cookie, okay? And you've been doing things pretty good so far. I think that right now, the best thing for you to do is to do nothing because I get that for you, you're in a position where you're a little bit confused. Are these intentions real or are these intentions just a facade? The reason I say do nothing is because that's the only way you can actually determine if the intentions are real, if they're just a facade. So what I mean by that is if you proceed to do nothing, if you proceed to do nothing and then things just fizzle out because he's realizing he's not getting anything from you, then that's your answer to your question. Now, if you proceed to do nothing and he continues to invest in you, put in effort into these dates, continues to, despite the fact that you're not sleeping with him, continues to try to build this relationship, then that's a sign that at least he's somewhat serious. Now, the real question becomes when he does move abroad, because he's 41, he's a grown man, so his stuff in his life is set in stone. So if he says he's moving abroad for his business and his career, he's actually going to be doing that. So now you need to really be gauging what, in a micro sense, what does your relationship look like when you guys aren't able to see each other? And in many different ways, you kind of mentioned it earlier. When you decline his advances for pineapples, he's MIA for days. So when you guys aren't together and he's not getting you in person or the possibility of sleeping with you in person, obviously you can only sleep with you in person, but things start to dwindle down, right? Things start to diminish. Things aren't as intense as when he's with you. That's the other thing that guys are going to try to do, right? Aside from love bombing, they're going to make it really intense when they're with you in person. But then you notice the intensity is very scaled back when he's not with you in person anymore. And you're kind of trying to figure out why is the intensity so drastically different when you're with me versus not with me. It's because if he tries to rev up the intensity when he's with you, the chances of you sleeping with him are a lot higher than if he's not with you. You understand what I'm saying? So obviously there's no purpose trying to make it seem really intense when he's not with you as opposed to being with you. And so I say that to say the longer you do nothing for, the more obvious it will become to you what he's really about. So I don't think you need to get all confuzzled. Obviously, it's been 1 month and you're starting to see cracks in his personality or his character. I guarantee you, as time is getting closer to him moving away, because you said this was coming soon, his plans to moving abroad, you'll start to notice, he'll even start to realize I'm wasting my time because I'm not going to sleep with her. I'm not going to get anything from her. And I also know he's 41. So he probably has an idea. Am I really going to be marrying her? Am I really going to make this girl my wife? And if he's not actually feeling that, he's going to start dwindling his interest in you because it's becoming purposeless for him, especially at that age. And he knows he's not getting anything from you. So do nothing is the simple answer there. Okay. Let's see who we have next year. Let me put on my Uncle 4. Okay. Who we got next? So many to do. So look at how much I'm scrolling. This is exactly why we're here today. Okay. Annalena. I think we did an Annalena before. So this must be a different situation, maybe with the same guy or with a different guy. Let's see. Okay. So Annalena asks, should I block him? Friend zone. Okay, let's see. Annalena says, earlier I wrote about a guy. See, I remember the name. Earlier, I wrote about a guy who used me as an ego booster and had separated from his wife. I didn't follow. You guys are funny. I didn't follow your advice. Nice. So let's see how things go for Annalena after not following my advice. Let's see if I just have no idea what I'm talking about and not following my advice goes well. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. I didn't follow your advice and continued to communicate with him, but only as a friend. You guys know that I don't advise you guys to have these casual ongoing friendships with people who you were once romantic with or tried to be romantic with. Once you cross that line, you can't go back and you're just wasting time and only leading to more confusion. So let's see how it went for Annalena not taking my advice on that. So she continued communicating with him, but only as a friend, without any expectations. Great. Let's see how this works out. Everything was fine. Cool. We talked, and then I finally stopped caring about him. Really? He suddenly said he liked me. Interesting. I didn't take it seriously and brushed it off. However, during the next meeting, he acted strangely and seemed to be flirting. I'm not sure, but in friendships, do people flirt? In friendships, do people admit to liking each other? Doesn't really sound like a friendship to me. Maybe I'm confused. At the end of the evening, he asked if he could kiss me. Chat, what type of friendship is this? I don't believe I've ever known of this type of friendship where your friend asks to kiss you on the mouth. Quite an interesting type of friendship. Maybe this is a new generation thing. I might be a grandpa. I hesitated because he previously claimed there was no connection between us and that he wasn't ready for a relationship. Doesn't this sound like a lot of confusion? The type of confusion that I mentioned happens anytime you try to go from being romantic to someone to being friends with them. Where is the friendship now? But we kissed. Congratulations. You made the worst decision you could have possibly made. Congrats. Now there's even more confusion. You're friends who kiss each other. Nice. Nice. The next day, I messaged him to check if he was okay, and he replied that the kiss was a mistake. Nice, nice. So not only have you guys crossed the boundary and now you're thinking something's going on, but immediately when something happens, and maybe there might be a new standard and expectation, maybe we're going to build a relationship here, it immediately goes back to confusion because no, we're not actually a thing. We're still friends and we're still friendly. That was a mistake. Just ignore that thing. It's the ultimate version of confusion and time wasting. Annalena, you're wasting so much of your life away in this confusing state. You do not want to be friends with this guy, and it doesn't even seem like he wants to be friends with you. It seems like you were saying before, he was using you. I said it before to you, and let me actually take credit for that. I said it to you that he was using you as an ego booster, right? Because he was having you around to make him feel more confident within himself because of how much you wanted him. The moment you stopped caring about him or stopped showing him that you were as interested in him as you once were, right? He stopped receiving his validation. Guys also enjoy validation. He stopped receiving his validation from you. And then he began to become interested in you, right? As an attempt to get you back interested in him. He kind of wants to do the bait and switch here, where he shows you some interest, so you get reinvested. Then once you're reinvested, he gets his confidence back, and then he pulls back again. He blamed it on medication. Chat, don't you remember? See, if you join us every day, then you know we had a previous message in the Discord that talked about this medication called Wilbur. That's the name of the medication that someone took in the Discord, right? They didn't take it because of the Discord. They just took it because they were prescribed it, and it made them so horned up that they made some drastic mistakes. maybe this is the same medication that he's been prescribed. It's called Wilbur, okay? And it just makes you so horned up that you can't think straight. Maybe that's the medication. Please, Annalena, ask him. Actually, I don't want you to talk to him. But if you already know what the name of the medication is, please put it in the chat so we can add it to the list of medications that are banned from the Players Club. Banned medications. Nobody in the Players Club is allowed to take those medications, because if your mind becomes that foggy because you're that horned up when you take those medications, those need to be banned. We need to report those medications to the FDA. Okay? Very, very important. Put the name of the medication in the chat so we can ban it. All right. He has mental health issues. Okay. And the medication for his mental health issues make him horned up. I'm not dissing his mental health issues, but sounds like an excuse. And emotions. Saying that I was a sister to him. Yeah, a sister who was boosting his ego. And nothing more would happen. Quite confusing. Why would you kiss someone who's like a sister to you? That sounds like incest. Let's go on. Later, I told him I wanted to stop communicating because what he did was hurtful. Okay, you're getting some sense here. And it seemed like he had low self-esteem and was using me to boost it. Exactly what I just said. I told you guys I don't read these ahead of time. He apologized and deleted our chat. Is this happening on Snapchat? I would hope and pray to God, Annalena, because you are not necessarily an OG, but you've been here for a while. So don't be doing any of this stuff on Snapchat. Okay, that's already a bad precedent. Now I have feelings for him, unfortunately, so he's reeled you back in. You're like a fish. He's literally cast out his line and his bait to you, and he's reeled you back in. You're now reinvested in him once again. My question is, if he reappears in my life, which he probably will, to get his ego boost and confidence back, should I forgive him, or he'll always be like this and not interested in me? I think once it's clear that he's not interested in you, I don't think there ever comes a point where his interest in you is going to come out of the blue. It really only seemed like he began to become interested in you the moment you stopped showing interest in him, and he felt compelled to draw you back in by doing that. And I think the only thing that made him feel guilty is because he realized he truly has no feelings for you. And the only reason he did that was to try to get you reinvested. And when he senses that you are reinvested, that will be where he's at ease and where he's back comfortable. Okay. And so I say all that to say, I think that in your specific situation, Annalena, this situation no longer serves you whatsoever, not in a friendship way and not in a romantic sense. There's nothing you're gaining from this friendship or situationship that's not a friendship, but it's not just a romantic thing. This is all just confusing. It's a waste of your time, and it doesn't serve you whatsoever. In fact, you're the only one that continues to get hurt and continues to be confused while he uses you as a confidence and ego booster. You need to leave that man alone. Don't answer his questions. Don't answer him if he reaches out to you. And don't worry about anything he says to you, because anything he says to you will be for the purpose of doing something for him, which in this case is just increasing his own confidence and his own ego so that he can take that confidence and go chase after another girl that he really wants. We don't want that for you, Annalena. All right. So ignore him. Next here we have, let's see. I wish I would just keep my place there. Trauma. Oh, this was deleted. Sorry. Next we have from Jackalita. I like that name, Jackalita. Hope Jackalita's in the chat. Identify yourself, Jackalita, if you're in the chat. Oh, by the way, sorry. Let me acknowledge. Who was it that donated here? Let me acknowledge. It was Jazz. Jazz donated $15. She said, Tomisin, thank you very much for all you do. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, Jazz. I appreciate you and your donation as well. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Jackalita says, request for topic discussion when men try to make you chase. Hi, Tomisin. Thank you for your advice about my dusty ex-boyfriend last month. He remains blocked, and I reclaimed my weekends by making pottery and sunbathing at the pool before fall semester. Also, I'm getting a promotion at work. So see how good your life goes when you start reinvesting your energy back into yourself? a lot of good things happen. You talked a bit this week about how some guys will get to the girl to believe she's not being serious, or that she's the one holding the relationship back, as a way of prompting her to initiate and chase more. 100%. I was wondering if you could talk more about this. How do we distinguish this strategy versus a guy who's sincerely expressing anxiety about feelings not being reciprocated? How do we catch it as it's happening? And is there a way to undo it if we fell for it? For reference, this was in response to one of the questions, how to make a man miss you live on this date. This, the one about the athlete. Okay, I remember now. Edit, unrelated to your unrelated follow-up question, what if an ex never comes back? Is there something wrong with me? Okay, so let me answer these questions in order. So in terms of this strategy that guys use when they express anxiety of you not being interested, I want you to understand whether it's genuine, and this is for all of you, I want you to understand whether it's genuine or not genuine. Right? So meaning whether it's for the purpose of getting you to chase and pursue him, or whether he really is concerned about you not being interested in him. Either way, I do not want you to ease his anxiety. And I do not want you to stress yourself out trying to ease his anxiety. Why? Because it's irrelevant. At the end of the day, he's the one pursuing you. So whether or not he feels nervous about the fact that you might not like him as much as he likes you, that's just a place where he's uncomfortable being, because he feels like, wow, I'm really having to push forward to make this happen. I'm not sure if I'm really getting somewhere or this is working, but I feel like I need some sort of validation from you that this is working and I'm getting somewhere. Guys are going to attempt to do that to ease their own anxiety. And the thing about it is, this is the reason why I don't want you to ease his anxiety, because the moment that you validate him and say, no, I do like you so much. Yes, I do want this so much. Yes, I do want us to build so badly. Guys, while you think it's good because you're easing in his anxiety and making him feel good, as soon as you do that for them and validate them that way, they and they take a sigh of relief and they relax, because they're like, oh, okay, I don't need to keep applying the most pressure. I don't need to keep trying to put my best foot forward. I don't need to keep trying to do the absolute most. Clearly, she likes me. Clearly, this is going somewhere. Clearly, I'm doing what needs to be done. So their mind stops focusing on how do I do more to get noticed more by her, and their mind starts going on, just relax, do nothing, take a chill pill. Don't try to book her 2 weeks in advance and take her to the fanciest restaurant. Just hang out in the car with her at McDonald's. It'll do the same thing because she already likes you. She already wants you. In fact, and then what's going to happen is as they pull back, you're going to become anxious because you're going to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. You used to be showing a lot of interest in me. Now you're not showing as much interest in me. What's wrong? Right? And like you say here, like you'll start thinking, what's wrong with me? So then you'll start pursuing and chasing after him. And then it perpetuates the cycle even more, because then he says to himself, I was once pursuing you, unsure whether it was working or not. Now I'm pulling back on pursuing you. You've eased my anxiety, but also you're pursuing me more than you ever have before. So then it tells them that they should pursue you even less to get you to pursue even more. And you create this inverse snowball effect where it's literally him pursuing you and chasing you the whole time, to literally the snowball goes back up the hill and is going back down the hill in the opposite direction. And you're the one chasing and pursuing after him. So whether it's genuine or it's real, right? In the end, you don't need to be easing his anxiety by validating him, telling him how much you want him, and start chasing after him, right? Or showing him things that will make him feel like you really like him just as much, because you don't need to. You keep him on the hunt and you keep him hungry for you and not satisfied with you. Because once he feels satiated with you and he no longer has that hunger and thirst for you, he's not going to be pushing forward, trying to put his absolute best foot forward in the relationship. He's only going to be thinking about how he can do less and maintain the same level of interest that you have in him. Now, you talked about the unrelated question, what if an ex never comes back? Is there something wrong with me? No. I've talked about exes coming back in the past, and why exes come back and guys that you've talked to and even slept with come back. But I do want you to understand that guys not coming back is not necessarily a function of something you're not doing. You also have to accept the idea that some men are pursuing you for the wrong reasons, and some men aren't even properly invested in you that you might even be in a relationship with. And when you finally break up is when you realize that their real intention, the honest intention of being with you and building with you wasn't even there. They were only there with you for reasons of the fact that you chased him, you pursued him, or you were giving a lot to him, doing a lot for him, and he was just receiving from you. And then the relationship ended. And when he no longer is receiving from you, he no longer cares about you. So there's a lot of reasons there's a lot of things that happen in breakups where the guy won't end up coming back because he was only looking for you to serve him. So they're not concerned with coming back when you no longer serve him. You understand what I'm saying? Right? And so that can happen a lot, but that has nothing to do with you. And you can't think like that because then you go into your future relationships thinking to yourself, how do I do more so that I am someone that you feel is valuable enough in your life that you want to keep me around? Because the moment you start thinking like that, you're thinking about how to be more likable. You're thinking about how to be validated. You're thinking about how to be seen and heard and appreciated. So what do you start doing? You put your maid outfit on, you tie it up real nice, you get on your hands and knees, and you take your dirty sponge out and you start scrubbing the floor squeaky clean, asking him if he likes how clean you can scrub this floor, hoping that he'll see how clean the floor is and he'll want to be in a relationship with you. It's not a good place for you to be mentally. Okay? Right? So I hope those answer your questions. Next here we have, let's see. Okay. Next we have here, let me scroll. Let me just do this. Let me do this like that. Okay. Yeah. Nice. On the job help. Okay. So this is a husband work situation. So Jolia says on the job, first and foremost, I appreciate all of the raw and uncut advice you give. I've learned so much. Thank you. Thank you for joining the show. I love you too. Part 1. I've been seeing this guy for about 8.5 months now. I'm 32. He's 40. He's established he has his own business. We work in the same field. So I thought he might have been a great person. Okay. I knew him 2 years prior to us getting involved due to work. Okay. I always had known he was attracted to me, but I never entertained him in that way, kept it friendly, but also professional. We got along so well, and the chemistry was undeniable. 9 months ago, he started pursuing me hard, so I decided to give it a try. It started out great. He took me out. Communication, consistency, crazy pineapples. I'm disappointed. Okay. Right. Because you're saying it started out with crazy pineapples. That just means you're dematized. And it also means you're probably not going to be able to think clearly for the rest of the relationship and the evaluation process of the relationship. Okay, let's go on. A few months passed. So this happened within the first few months. Okay, probably the first few weeks of sleeping together. Let's be for real. A few months passed, and I noticed he's not even hinting at making it official, and things are starting to slow down. Magic. I was also aware that he was going through a life change, which he told me would be for a few months. Okay, so this is where I have to question you, okay, and your judgment, Jolia, because I know that when you're in the moment, you're feeling emotions and feelings intensely. So you're not necessarily thinking about all these things logically and rationally when, your Squirtles are all lubricated and you just want to be penetrated. I get it. You understand? But at the same time, you're talking about things that you're realizing after the fact, where issues that would probably lead to you guys not having a successful relationship. In this specific scenario, you're talking about how he was going through a specific life change. And this might be something that would hold him back from being properly ready to have a serious relationship. Why don't you figure out how that can get addressed first or dealt with first before you start hopping into sleeping with him? Not that you shouldn't even bother trying to work or grow the relationship, but the order of operations is backwards. You're having crazy pineapples with him. Great that you have crazy pineapples with him and you're enjoying yourself. But it's like after the fact of it slowing down, now you're looking back and saying, oh, he did mention he has this life thing. He did mention this situation is going on. So now you're thinking to yourself, I can't even be mad at him because he already told me that. He kind of already told me he's not ready to build something with me. And now you're confused why he's not ready to build something with you, or you're upset about the fact he's not ready to build something with you. When these are the things where you should have been, instead of focusing, oh, it feels so good to be around you. Oh, it feels so good to be complimented by you. Oh, it feels so good to be on these dates and you're like my Disney Prince Charming. Right? You should have been thinking, oh, you're letting me know that even if we do sleep together, you're not ready to build anything real. You got this going on, you got that going on. So those should have been the places where your energy was most focused on in terms of digging, asking more questions, getting a better understanding of, and gauging where he's at mentally with, instead of jumping into sleeping with him. I know you probably identify that was a mistake, but I just want you to memorize that because there's always an order of operations here, which is why I always tell you guys there's so many details and context and understanding of each individual guy that you're going to be dating that you need to have before you jump right into sleeping with him. Because a lot of you are sleeping with the guy thinking, okay, this feels really good. And in the process of learning more about him, you're kind of like, for a couple of different reasons, you're not really my guy. But it's like, why don't you figure out that before you sleep with him? I know it's easier said than done, but this is what I want you guys to be thinking about. I told him I would give him space to take care of that and put a pause on communication and seeing each other. So why didn't you do that from the beginning before sleeping with him, right? These are things to be addressed then. At first he agreed, but he started to come around again and I let him. That was my mistake, 100%. Maybe a month goes by and he told me he's trying to ignore his feelings for me. What does that even mean? What does that mean? I don't even understand what that's supposed to mean. Because his last relationship was hell and he's not in a space mentally to be a good partner to me. Once again, Jolia, part of the things when you go into a dating stage, a talking stage, stop being so mesmerized with how perfect a guy you meet is. Oh my God, our chemistry is undeniable. Oh my God, we're like soulmates. Oh my God, you're like the perfect man that I've ever met in my entire life. I'll never meet a man as perfect as you. And you're just like being blown around in the wind, covered in this blanket of a fantasy, right? Think to yourself, great. I like you. That's awesome. Let me get to know more about you so I can determine if I still like you after knowing more of your not so amazing character traits. Because the reality of it is, no matter how amazing a person is when you first meet them, I promise you, in the process of you getting to know them, there will be some things that you don't like as much and you're not so fond of in terms of their personality and who they are. There's nothing wrong with that. Nobody's perfect, but it's very important for you to discover those things before you fully jump into investing your complete self into that person, right? And these are the things you should have been inquiring about when you were on these dates, when you were getting to know him before sleeping with him. Okay? I appreciated the honesty, but I was angry because why would you pursue me and do all of this knowing you're not ready for a serious relationship? Very, very, very simple. Why would it? Think about this. Just think about this logic, right? If I'm going out on a date with someone, right? If I'm going out on a date with you, do you honestly think I'm going to sit here on this date and I want you to like me? And I'm going to sit here on this date and tell you, well, I hope you know that I'm actually the dirtiest person you're ever going to meet. And I just want you to know that every time I get out of the shower, I leave a whole bunch of water all over the floor and I never clean it up. And then, I'm just splashing water all over the floor. And then literally I take my towel off of the rack. And then when I dry myself off with the towel, I throw the dirty towel onto the wet floor. And so when you walk into the bathroom when you want to take a shower, the whole place will be flooded and there'll be dirty towels laying on the floor. And oh, by the way, I leave my underwear in the kitchen sink. So I just hope you know that while we're on this dinner date. Do you still want to date me? You're obviously going to say, that's disgusting. I don't want to be in a relationship with you, nor do I want to continue exploring this relationship. When people come on these first dates with you, or when the beginning stages are happening, they're always going to be presenting their best, most desirable version of themselves to you, so that you will be you will like them. You understand? That's not a crime, but I need you to understand that concept. So I say that to say, you're asking, why would he pursue you despite knowing he's not ready for a relationship? Well, why would he come out and tell you he's not ready for a relationship, knowing that he wouldn't have a chance with you, or a chance especially to sleep with you? He wouldn't. Of course, he's going to withhold that information. So it then becomes your job to extract the truth out of him and take off the mask so that you can discover who he really is. That's your job, not his. Because the reality of it is, he's not going to come out and tell you everything that's wrong with him so that you won't like him. Doesn't make logical sense. He wants you to like him. I told him I would be stepping away, and he apologized. However, in less than a week, he started reaching out to me again, and I gave in because I fell hard for him, and I thought any connection was better than no connection. This is a horrible mindset to happen. To be in, because you now are of the belief that it has to be you, right? And regardless of what circumstance or situation I get you in, as long as I get you, as long as we have a connection, like you said, and it's better than no connection, that's fine. Now you're really going to start losing. Things are really going to start going downhill now. Once again, this was another mistake, and I admit that. I'm glad you recognize that. I've learned from this, though. So now we're communicating daily. That's not really learning from it. That's not really learning from it, because this is part of the problem. Some of you cannot cut people off completely. Once they stop serving you and this relationship has been identified to going nowhere, you need to get very comfortable cutting people off completely, not leaving them in your life halfway where they can still chat to you and talk to you. Cut it off completely. But also having pineapples and no real dates. This was like the worst sentence you could possibly. This was the worst sentence in this entire essay that you sent me. So now we're still communicating daily, but we're also having pineapples and no real dates. Congratulations. Congratulations. You have played yourself on an immense scale. Nice, Jolia. Nice. Nice. You're not getting any commitment from him. No sort of real investment. You're still giving your mind, body, soul, and spirit to him. And he can't even be bothered to take you out on a real date. You have literally downgraded yourself from being a romantic interest to being a casual friends with benefits. This is like, you should apply to be a magician, because it is literally like magic the way you did that in an instant. Poof, you're friends with benefits now. In an instant. Wow, that you're a true magician. Please apply to be a magician, because you're better than David Blaine. A few weeks ago, the communication also started lessening. This is even better. So now he doesn't take you on dates. He can't even be bothered to text you or call you. Only open up your app when he's hungry and horned up for you. Like you are DoorDash. This is great. You went from being a romantic interest who he spends a lot of time and energy on to being DoorDash, a DoorDash app. You are truly a magician of the highest magnitude. I decided this is not enough for me, and I'm going to walk away from the situation because I know who I am and what I deserve. Let's see if you actually do that. I have doubts. It's going to be a process because I am deeply hurt, but I've learned so much from the situation. My issue is, as I stated before, we somewhat work together. He owns a business, and the company that I work for has a contract with that business. Therefore, I have to see him Monday to Friday. You should be seeing me Monday to Friday at work, and this makes it even more difficult. I originally planned on just going to work and ignoring him while still being my bomb happy self. I'm angry, and I feel like he wasted my time. He did. Actually, sorry, let me rephrase that. You wasted your own time because you misdid right? The order of operations. The order of operations should have come, let me learn as much about him as I possibly can, get rid of this mindset that he's Mr. Perfect. Then once I realize the parts of him that are not so perfect, let's determine if this is someone I'm ready to grow a relationship with. You misdid the order of operations, then he wasted your time because you misdid the order of operations. Like I said, of course, he's not going to come out and tell you all the reasons you shouldn't like him. It's your job to figure out the reasons and the character traits about him that you don't like. I know it sounds horrible. You're like, why doesn't someone just tell me? Why doesn't someone just be honest? Why doesn't someone just be upfront? The truth of the matter is, it doesn't serve people who are dating you to be upfront about every character flaw that they have, because you won't want to date them and they want you to want to date them. Let's just be so for real. That's the world that we live in. So you have to discover these truths for yourself. Unfortunately. Okay. So that's wasting your own time by doing that way. I know you've said to avoid places that you know you'll run into him, but unfortunately, I have no other choice. Obviously, you work with him. Part of the reason why I don't advise you guys to be trying to build romantic relationships with people you work with, because how are you supposed to cut it off completely when you realize he's just playing around with you? Very difficult. I'll be returning to work in a few weeks. I'm not sure how I should go about this. Can you please help me? Okay, Jolia, I think that in your situation, what you should do, this is specifically the strategy that I think you should use. Like you were saying before, you ignore him. Don't give it. See, the worst thing you can ever do when it comes to guys is give it any attention. As soon as you give any attention or acknowledgement that even you're bothered, that is a sign to guys that you still care. So the best thing you can do to make him realize that he's lost you, or, you know, just to make him realize that the situation is done, is for you to not give it any sort of attention. You don't respond to his messages. You don't answer his calls. You don't do nothing with him. At work, I know you said he has a contract with the company that you work for and things like that. The only time you ever address him is if spoken to, and it requires you to address him specifically for a work-related reason. If he approaches you on some, why don't you talk to me in the office anymore, you ignore him. If he approaches you on some, hey, how you doing? How was your morning? You ignore him, okay? If he's not tied to your salary directly, it's not incumbent upon you to respond to him and be nice to him, quote unquote. Now, if he asks you a work-related question like this needs to get done or this contract needs to get signed, cool. Then respond to him specifically about a work-related issue and nothing else, okay? You set that boundary hard and fast. He'll begin to understand that unless he's coming to talk to you about work, you have no response for him. He's probably going to feel pretty poopy about that, and he's probably going to start apologizing to you left and right. But I can assure you, setting that boundary is the most important thing you can do. Sorry, I didn't even see that you said an update here. You said, so I've been withdrawing my energy from him, and I'm ready to let him know that I'm going to be stepping back from him in this situation. Don't let him know anything. This was yesterday. So I hope you haven't sent him any text or called him to let him know how you're going to take a step back. Newsflash to all of you. Anytime you're taking a step back, just take a step back. Do not announce that you're taking a step back. First of all, it loses its impact when you announce that you're taking a step back. And second of all, it doesn't do anything for you to announce that you're taking a step back. Because why are you announcing that you're taking a step back? Just take a step back. That's how people aren't going to feel. Like, I hope you're not, Jolia, in your situation, I hope you're not announcing you're taking a step back, hoping that he will say, please don't take a step back. I want to be with you so bad. I hope that's not why you're doing that, because I know a lot of you do that because you want that reaction from the guy. That is not what you should be looking for and not what you should be seeking out. If you're withdrawing because you know that this relationship doesn't serve you and he hasn't been treating you right, then just withdraw. Don't announce it. And if he cares, I'm sure he'll notice, right? And it doesn't require you to announce it anyways. However, he recently told me that the situation he was going through for months now, okay, I'm aware of what the situation is, by the way, is about to be resolved, and in about a month, he'll be completely free. Cool. Sounds a lot like all the other guys who are married, right? And they love to tell you how literally they're just about to sign the last paper of their divorce papers and officially be divorced from their wife. They literally, tomorrow, they're going to print out the last 10 pages of the divorce agreement. And literally, once they go to Staples and get the brand new ballpoint pen, they're about to divorce their pen. Literally, the pen is literally about to touch the paper, and in the next 5 minutes, he's just about to be divorced officially, and then you guys are going to be able to run away to a land far, far away and be together forever. Married men love to tell you how it's just about to happen so that you can get high off what we call hopium, right? Everyone in the chat say hopium. Hopium is the drug that guys love to get you hooked on so that you will be still invested in them and this relationship with the hope that something is about to come. It's right on the horizon, right around the corner. You can taste it. It's on the tip of your tongue. Okay? They want to get you hooked on that because the longer they can get you hooked on hopium, the longer they can string you along. Okay? So I say that to say, even the same way with married men, how they tell you they're just about to get divorced, so don't worry, the relationship's going to be over soon, is the same way he's telling you this soul situation with whatever he's dealing with is just about to be resolved in a month, and he'll be completely free, and you guys will be able to run away to a land far, far away, and everything will be amazing and wonderful, and you won't have to have a care in the world. Sounds great in a Disney princess movie, okay? But in reality, things can change rapidly. Okay, so if this is the truth, that the situation is going to be resolved in a month, then you let him know that is great. So when your situation gets resolved in a month, then you reach out to me, let me know that the situation has been resolved completely, and then we can go into seeing if you're worthy of my time and energy. Until then, you keep putting your time and energy into resolving the situation, and I will keep investing in myself. That's how you need to approach that. Okay. My mother and my friends are telling me to wait until the end of the month is over before telling him that I'm walking away. No. You don't need to tell him anything about walking away because it's irrelevant if you're walking away for real. Okay. And I also don't think you need to be holding out hope, talking to him and messaging him like regular, waiting for this magical moment to come in about a month. Listen, you sent this message yesterday, so we have exactly 30 days from now. I can assure you, please send an update, Jolia, in 30 days. I can assure you, when 30 days comes, there will be some sort of external circumstance or situation that didn't allow this issue to get resolved in exactly a month. I 100% promise you that somehow, some way, this situation will still not be resolved in a month, or there will be still remnants of it to deal with after this month is gone. Because if the situation was so closely to be resolved, then he should be perfectly fine with not speaking to you and not doing anything with you, resolving it first, and then coming to you after it's resolved. The only reason he would tell you that it's about to be resolved is so that you stick around long enough, hoping that it will get resolved soon. 1 month will turn into 2, and it'll turn into 3, turn into 4. All of a sudden, it'll be a year of you doing the same thing, hoping that the same situation gets solved. And every time you think you're so close to the situation getting resolved and him being free, quote unquote, something else will happen, something else will come up, and the situation will prolong itself. It happens every time. Since he gave me a timeline in theory of what he would like the situation to get resolved in, that does not necessarily mean that's when the situation will get resolved. Just the truth. I still believe that I should tell him I'm walking away. Don't say anything. Your friends are giving you horrible advice. Okay. What is announcing that going to do? He's only going to respond one of two ways. Either he's going to say, okay, I don't care, go. Or he's going to say, please don't go. My situation's about to be resolved in a month and I want to be with you so badly. So he's going to try to reel you back in. And if you're going to be reeled back in, what's the point of announcing you're going to walk away if you're willing to be reeled back in? Might as well just stay. This is what I need you guys to understand. Part of earning your own respect is showing people that when it's done, it's done. They don't get second, third, fourth, fifth chances. They don't get to reel you back in. So if you tell them that, like, if you're walking away, you're actually walking away. You're not telling him you're walking away, hoping that he'll say, don't walk away, right? It just leads to people not being able to take you seriously when you set a boundary, when you do that way, because they constantly think, okay, if I cross her boundary, but I apologize and I'm nice about it, I can reel her back in. So I don't have to take the boundary as serious because I can still reel her back in, right? It doesn't work well for your respect. I still believe that I should tell him I'm walking away, especially because he didn't say in a month the situation will be resolved so we can move forward together. Exactly, right? So these are part of the things that when a month comes and the situation isn't resolved or you guys aren't together, he can start saying, well, this, well, that, well, this, I didn't promise that, I didn't promise this. And then you'll be like, what? I waited a month for nothing? What do you think? By the way, I still haven't returned to work yet as I have a few weeks left, but I want to be prepared. Yeah, my preparation for you, like I said before, don't speak to him or acknowledge him for anything that's not work related. And even if it's, I just want you to be nice to me and kind to me, if he does not pay your salary or he's not directly or indirectly tied to the money that you make, right? It doesn't matter if you're nice to him or not. That is irrelevant. Okay. And so keep it very work related. And I don't think you need to announce yourself leaving. You have some respect for yourself. If it's only going to take a month to resolve, then she should have no problem with coming to you once the situation is resolved. There should be no need for you to continue entertaining him throughout this month once the situation is resolved. I advise you, don't address him, right, for this month. And let's see if in 1 month his situation is resolved or not, or if he's still talking about what things are about to be. Just a load of baloney. Okay. Next we have here. Let's see. Pretty. Oh, okay. He's a good man, Savannah. How to show appreciation. Is this from a meme? What meme is this from? He's a good man, Savannah. I think I've heard this before. Chat, please tell me what meme this is from. I like to know things. I'm nosy. What meme is this from? Okay, it's from a movie, someone said. Okay, it's from Waiting to Exhale. That's the movie. That's the name of the movie. Okay, he's a good man, Savannah. Interesting. Hi, Tomisin. I love your show and what you're teaching us. Blessings to you. To my question, I actually have a good man. Interesting. Is this a flex? You gonna flex on the chat? Not a perfect one, but a good one. At least I think so. He's consistent. We're in a proper relationship and he is a sweetheart. Nice. He also has been very generous to me. Gave me, I was going to say, I thought you was going to say a lump on my head. A lump sum to purchase something I've been wanting just after the first date. After the first date, he gave you a lump sum of money? You spoiled. Also, he has given me money time after time. And more recently, he gave me a really significant sum of money. And more recently, he gave me a really significant sum of money to help with a huge bill. So he's done this multiple times. Essentially what you're saying. This amount in my country isn't something anyone would just give you, especially after 2 months of dating. Are you flexing on the chat? Are you flexing on the chat? How do I show appreciation to a man without chasing him and turning him off? I just want to show him that I'm grateful and I appreciate him without turning into a golden retriever. Okay. Also, we've been dating for almost 3 months. He's very consistent, very sweet. We've already had pineapples. This is not good. Okay. He's still being consistent and sweet, but I don't think it's necessary, but let's go on. It's been 3 months. Also, he lives pretty close to me. So we see each other basically every weekend. I've tried to pace him and the relationship by sometimes not being available during the weekend and also avoiding seeing him during the week. But he's demanding more time together. Good. That's the exact place you want him to be in. Wanting to see you more, wanting to speak to you. Guys, don't get so uncomfortable or thirsty to, oh, you want to see me more? So I'll be available every day. Let him continue. You guys always ask me, okay, how do we do this in an already existing relationship? Are we supposed to get him to chase us forever? Are we supposed to play these games forever? You have to understand when a guy is really interested in you, he's always going to want more of you. So regardless of whether you're seeing him this weekend and then the next weekend and then the next, he's still always going to be like, I want more time with you. But that's fine. At the end of the day, he's the one pursuing you. So it's fine if he wants more of your time. That's a good place for him to be in. Don't be thinking, oh, I've got to change this so that he's at ease with how much he's seeing me. Keep him hungry. Keep him wanting to pursue. Keep him wanting to see you more. That's what keeps him pushing forward. Don't be thinking about, oh, I got to start being available every weekend and every night so that he can see me as much as he wants to see me and he's not as demanding anymore. Let him keep being demanding. That puts you in a position of power. Saying we should be able to see each other 3 times a week. Okay, so you see him twice a week, and then the rest of the time, he's anxious and hungry to see you. That's a great position for you to be in. Don't worry. I guarantee you'll get a lot more presents and gifts and love from him if you see him twice a week and you keep him very, very hungry. Very hungry. Starving, in fact, especially at the beginning like this. And it's really because he wants intimacy and pineapples. Even more of a reason to not be giving him anything, right? Keep him hungry. Because think about it. If you start seeing him 7 days a week, right? Because he's so hungry and wants to see you so much, and he gets to have pineapples with you 7 days a week, what do you think is the only next thought he can have now? Because you're already seeing him 7 days a week and he's having pineapples with you 7 days a week. So now the only thought he can have now that he's already seeing you the maximum amount is, I would like to see her less and spend less time with her. So automatically you take him from a position of saying, I want to give more, I want to do more, I want to be more for you so I can get more of you. And you put him in a mind frame where he's thinking, I want to see you less, I would like to do less with you, I would like to spend less time with you. So subsequently, you'll start noticing his interest will pull back. Also, the amount of which he's prepared to do the absolute most for you will be pulled back because he wants less of you. He wants less access to you. Okay, you really need to be thinking about that type of stuff. Everything else is great. He's generous, always available. Good. He's always available to you. You don't need to be always available to him because he's pursuing you. But we don't really go out on dates except I request it. That's not a good sign. Okay. How do I pace him? Because he's been such a good boyfriend, I'm hesitant to stand my ground. See, this is the problem. This is the problem. You start thinking to yourself, where else am I going to find a guy who will give me all these presents and do all this stuff for me? I'm starting to get anxious that I need to start doing more for him. You don't have to do anything for him. Stand my ground and not seeing during the week. Am I depriving him of pineapples? No. You said also, Tomisin, how do I get my man to buy me gifts and spoil me without asking? Simple. Do nothing. He gives, but only when I ask. It's a bit tricky because we've been having pineapples, so it's not like in the beginning where I can set the standards for the relationship. We're already in it, and he's been getting his needs met. This is part of the reason why I say don't do that. Also, sometimes I feel like he's only able to spend a limited amount of time with me outside of the date when it's not intimacy related. See, you're already going down a very bad path here. Right? In terms of your build, this is the beginning stages are so important because you build the foundation of your relationship and what it's going to be for the rest of your relationship. So if you're not building the foundation properly, you're going to run into some issues down the line. Right? So you said, like, if we're not making out or having pineapples, he isn't trying to spend a long time with me. That's a horrible sign. And you're noticing that early. That's a horrible sign. Last one, any tips for speeding up a proposal or moving to the next stage of commitment meeting family with a man that seems serious? I've been engaged previously before, but both a pretty short time. Okay, so let me answer this part first, because this is kind of tied to your beginning question as well. In terms of giving gifts, this is what I want all of you to be paying attention to, because I know some of you like to ask me, how do I get gifts from a man? How do I get a rich man? How do I get him to spoil me? All that good stuff. I'll make this very clean and simple, and a very simple strategy none of you will ever be able to mess up, okay? The best way to get a guy to spoil you is not by asking him, is not by begging of him, right? And it's not by saying, please spoil me. Okay, that's going to make you seem desperate, and it's not going to, you have to understand, when people give to you, right? And when people are generous towards you and give you gifts and buy you things and spoil you, it makes you feel good, yes, but there's also a dopamine hit that he gets from doing something for you that he knows you really want it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have to understand, in every exchange, whether he's giving to you, there's an exchange also for him in feeling good for giving towards you. So I say that to say, if he feels like you're ungrateful, that's not good. He's not going to get that dopamine response and hit of saying, wow, I feel good for giving you, someone that I care about, something that you really appreciate. You understand? If he feels like you feel entitled to his money or his gifts, or entitled to you spoiling him, he's also not going to get that positive feedback loop of feeling like, I did something for someone that I love and you really appreciate it and you're really happy. Because when you're entitled, when you feel entitled to it, you'll be like, damn, it took you 3 weeks to pay $10,000 for my liposuction. Damn, you couldn't do that in 3 days? A real man would have paid for my Chanel bag the first time I asked for it. A real man would have went to the Chanel store straight away and not waited 3 weeks. You understand what I'm saying? So by the time he gives to you, he doesn't even end up getting that positive feedback loop of feeling like, oh, I love the feeling of giving to someone that I care for because I see how happy you are, right? So I say that to say, in the process of him giving to you, you want to make him feel appreciated for giving to you. Now, that's a pretty simple aspect. Now, in terms of the strategy, you want to present, if you want something specific from him, you want to present whatever it is that you want from him as an issue or a problem you're facing. Because one thing that guys who are interested in you and invested in you love to do is they love to solve your problems. So if you want a man to gift you something in particular, or you want some sort of spoiled princess treatment from a man, you have to present that thing that you want as a problem that you are facing in your life that needs to be solved, but you're unsure how to solve it. Do you understand? As if you have a dilemma in your life that only this gift or this thing or this item can solve. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you have to be actually rational and logical with that. You understand what I'm saying? So saying, oh, well, damn, I love designer bags, but, I have 13 Chanel bags, but, this one's in white. And if I could get this Chanel bag, then my entire life would be so much better. You're not really presenting it as a problem to be solved. You understand what I'm saying? But if you say, oh my God, this is the most beautiful Chanel bag. I've never had something like that before, and that's way too expensive of a bag for me to be getting. Like, that bag's like $10,000. I can't justify spending $10,000 on a bag. That makes no sense. But I love the look of the bag, and it's so beautiful. I would love one day, maybe if I could get one, just in general. Like, I feel like that is my, listen, that is my dream bag. I would love to have that one day, but I'd probably never be able to get it. Now you've presented to him, this is like, I'm giving you guys insider details because today's Saturday, so I'm giving you guys some slick details. Now you've presented to him a problem that you have and a dream that you aspire to have that you feel is impossible. So now he feels like if he solves your problem and gets you that Chanel bag, he's first of all giving you your dream bag, right? Which that's really powerful. And also doing something that you thought would never happen in a million years. And when you give him that positive feedback loop and he feels appreciated for doing something you didn't expect, now he's like, I am the man, aren't I? Right? I got you the Chanel bag. You got the Chanel bag that you were looking at in the store, and you never in a million years thought you were going to get the Chanel bag, and now it's in your hands, right? And it makes him feel more like a man. Like, I did that. I did that for you. Yeah, I'm the man, and you're the woman because you're my woman. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a very good way to get what you want without begging for it or being entitled to it. Okay. In terms of you and dating him, this is not a good sign, though, in terms of him only reaching out to you when he wants pineapples for you. I'm not going to lie to you. This is not to diss you, but it's giving escort. Okay. This is not to diss you. I'm not saying that you are one, but if he's spending money on you, right, it's giving sugar baby. If he's spending money on you and sleeping with you, and he doesn't seem interested in spending time with you or spending money on you if he's not sleeping with you, that doesn't speak well to his genuine interest in you romantically. Okay? Because you said yourself that it's really because he wants intimacy anytime he spends time with you. And anytime he's not, he doesn't seem as interested in spending real time with you. There's a name for that. And it's not girlfriend, okay? Especially when it's like the money is the exchange for what you're giving to him. So as strange as this sounds, I think you have a decision to make here, because clearly he seems more invested in what you can do for him intimately than he is in what you can do for him romantically. So you have to make a decision. What is more important to you, building a relationship with this man or getting money and gifts from this man? For some of you, and maybe for you in particular, Pretty O, what's more important to you is getting gifts and being spoiled by this man than building a relationship. If that's what's more important to you, then keep doing what you're doing, and you're probably going to have to keep giving up some of that squirrel for him to keep spending money on you. But if you're here to look for a real, genuine relationship, I do think you're going to have to pull back on giving pineapples to him so that you can start to gauge, look, this relationship isn't all about you coming over to my place or me coming over to your place and I sleep with you and then you kick me out, you send me some money, and then you only contact me the next time you want to sleep with me. Because that's not a real relationship. And the longer you spend trying to build a relationship out of that, the more frustrated you will continue to be. So then, like I said, you have a decision to make. Do you want your relationship to only be about sleeping with him and he gives you money and gives you gifts? Or would you rather build something real and long lasting? But you're risking the fact that when you try to take a step back and not give him access to pineapples because you want to explore a deeper connection than just intimacy, you're probably going to realize that maybe he's not there to build that sort of deep intimacy with you. And that realization can be very painful. Okay. And if you're not ready for that realization, you're going to be very hurt when you try to pull away or you try to take a step back and build the connection. And he's like, nah, girl, I'm not here to build no connection with you. And I don't even like you if you're only here to not let me sleep with you. So that is a decision that you're going to have to make for yourself and decide what it is what is more important to you. Okay. Right. Next we have here, let's see. Let's go down. By the way, for those of you who are new here and just joined us recently, if you want to send in your question, feel free to send it into the Players Club Discord. You can access the Players Club Discord by going into the link in my bio if you're on TikTok and going into the link in my description if you're on YouTube. Okay. So Piano says he's back. Okay. Piano says he's back. Hi, Tomisin. I'm 25. You responded to my question back in May in the Discord about a guy I was seeing who was also 25. To recap, we got along well, but life events going on, his home renovations, we ended things because he couldn't give me proper attention. I remember this one. We've been on wonderful dates to 4+ star restaurants. I like how you put the star count there. Have great chemistry, meaningful conversation. He talks, I listen, and only kiss. Okay, so you've been doing a lot of things right so far. We stopped talking in February, and today he's reaching out. We've been no contact since I last messaged you. I was already living my life and working on school, my small business, and my health since I injured my back from a car accident back in March. I asked if I should let him cook, and you said he's probably not interested enough to chase since it had been months since we last spoke. He texted me 3 times back to back asking to see each other again. I haven't responded yet. I like this man and I want to keep the black cat energy going. Any advice on a man I thought was in the void? Okay, so obviously you sent this message a while ago, so it's been like 2 weeks since over 2 weeks since you sent this message. But however, what you were doing was good so far, and I hope your response was, okay, if you want to take me out, cool. Where? What do you want to do, right? You don't have to say anything else, right? You don't have to plan anything. You don't have to do anything. If he's telling you how badly he wants you, your answer and response should be, okay. Then he should proceed to say, okay, are you free on Friday? I want to take you to blank. Are you free on Tuesday? I would like to spend some time with you doing blank, right? Let him lead. Let him Put forward the effort and let him show you that he's serious. You don't have to jump back into it when he says, oh, I want to take you out, and say, okay, so you want to take me out? Let's go here on this week, on that day, and this, that, and that. No, don't do anything. Just say, okay, and let him show you how serious that he actually is. And for the rest of the relationship, let him continue pushing it forward and showing you if he's serious or not. That's the very simple terms in terms of what to do. You just say, okay, and let him continue leading the relationship wherever he wants to lead it. And if things fizzle out, or if he says, okay, I was expecting that once I got to this point, you would start chasing after me, and he's hoping that you'll start chasing after him instead, that's when you say, buddy, I'm not chasing after you, not a damn bit. You don't actually say that. You just don't do it. You understand what I'm saying? And if he pulls back or he fizzles out again, then you just say, all right, you're done now. You've had your opportunity to come back and show me something. You're done now. So if he does this thing again, where he reaches out, he says, I want to take you out on a date. He takes you out on one date, then it fizzles out again. You then just go on and say, for the rest of the time that he's ever going to hit me up, since until I pass away, I'm just not going to respond to him, because now he's shown you that he's just going to keep coming in and out and wasting your time. So at that point, it becomes irrelevant answering him for any reason whatsoever. You understand what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense, P&O, right? Next we have here, let's see. Okay. Doll, gym guy. This is probably going to be interesting. These gym situations are always hectic. Doll says, hi, Tomisin. I love your channel. I have a question. There's a man at my gym that's been trying to get my attention for 2 months. My slow butt only realized recently when he started making it extra obvious. Okay. I see him maybe 3 times a month, but when he sees me, he starts working out 1 foot away from me and peacocking hard. This is actually pretty funny because I see guys do this in the gym all the time. And I go to the gym at the same time every morning, so I see the same people. And it's pretty funny, the dynamics there. Definitely guys do that when they like a girl. I will agree. They work out conveniently in their area. Okay. Taking his top off. What type of gym is that where they take their shirts off in the middle of the gym? Staring intensely at me and just watching me. Damn, is he drooling? Is he obsessed? Does he have a hard on? Sounds like it. I'm very shy and it's hard for me to maintain eye contact even though I want to show interest. You're horned up too? Today I smiled, he smiled back, and we left the gym at the same time. He had the perfect opportunity to hit on me and he didn't. Maybe he's shy too. He always looks extremely nervous around me. I do normally get hit on a lot at the gym, but he's the one I want. I'm starting to get frustrated because he keeps following me around and staring at me all day. Literally, he looks like he's drooling when he sees me. I notice him through the mirrors. I want him to either make a move or stop following me around because I feel like I'm being a dangled carrot. I'm being dangled a carrot. Sorry, I read that wrong. He stares from far, but up close, he crumbles and starts blushing. What should I do to end this rubbish? I like how you say that. So Doll, I think that it's funny. I've had people in the gym that I know were like looking at me, right, and eyeing me. Obviously, when I go to the gym, I'm just like so hyper focused on what I'm doing. I don't have time for that. But I noticed that eventually, in the process of them seeing me, they always just end up coming up and saying something, whether it be a joke, making a comment, whatever it may be. Oh, you finished with that equipment? How many sets do you have? They'll say something. And I say that to say it's the same thing with you. I'm sure if in the process of you guys seeing each other over and over again, that was probably, you also have to understand from his perspective, you looking at him and smiling was probably the first time he felt acknowledged by you and felt like, okay, maybe she's feeling the same thing that I'm feeling towards her, right? Because it can be a little bit confusing to be in your own head thinking, I think she's attractive. I think she's good looking. I would love to approach her. But he might be thinking in his head, I don't know if she's even noticing me or wanting to approach me. You understand? So when you smiled at him, that was the first bit of confirmation that he got that, oh, maybe she is as interested in me as I am in her or notices me as well. So I say that to say, yes, of course, in a perfect world, all men are the most manly, capable men in the world, and they're all the greatest, craziest hunters. And as soon as they see you and they want you, they approach you and they do it so hard and heavy. The reality of it is some guys, they need a little bit of motivation and they need to be pushed a little bit. So when you smiled at him and looked at him, that was the confirmation he needed, okay? And I can assure you, he's gonna see you at the gym more times. And over time, over the course of seeing you over and over again and having those exchanges of the looks and the smiles, he's gonna be like, okay, so yeah, I should say something. I gotta say something, right? And for some guys, I'll be just honest with you, for some guys, especially when you're in a situation where you're seeing them reoccurringly, they're going to be building up their confidence to come up to you. You understand what I'm saying? Be patient. Be patient. Don't try to get it to happen all in one day. You know he's looking at you. He knows he's looking at you. Everyone knows what's going on. I can assure you, he'll build up some confidence. He'll come up to you, make a joke. He'll come up to you, start some banter. I promise you, he'll do it. He's just building up the courage to break the ice. Once he does, it'll become regular for him. Some guys get nervous, okay? It's not a crime though. You understand? But other than that, there's nothing for you to do, doll, because there's nothing else that you should be doing. You shouldn't be trying to go up to him and speak to him. You shouldn't be trying to break the ice or initiate the conversation. You should be staying put, staying in your feminine. You'll work on that dump truck at the gym. Let him watch you work on that dump truck at the gym. And when you're walking by, let him get a waft of your odor, right? Your odor as in like your smell, your scent, and let him breathe that into his nostrils, fall in love with that, and you give him a look, and then you walk away and have him dreaming about you and wanking himself off, fantasizing about being with you until he sees you again. And just let that be what you are to him until he gets the courage to pursue you. That's what you want to be to guys until they can build up that courage. You don't want to be someone that's like, well, I seen you looking at me and I liked you so much, so I approached you and said, no, you're the fantasy. He wanks off to the idea of you until he becomes a man. That's the rite of passage. Until he becomes a man to approach you, you're only going to be a fantasy to him. So it's great for you because by the time he comes to you, he's ready to be a man now. And he's ready to take charge and get what he wants. That's the exact reason why you don't want to be approaching him, because if you approach him before he's ready to be a man, now you've just inherited a princess that you have to be taking care of and you have to be pursuing. I don't think if your name is Doll that you want to inherit a princess man unless you want to have two dolls. Okay, so do nothing. And I promise you, as he builds up this courage, you can smile and look at him. That's confirmation for him. That is the most you should ever do. It'll build up his confidence to approach you. I can assure you, if he really wants you. If he's too scared or too much of a soy boy, too shy, he won't. But then he's not even man enough that you would want to be with him anyways. Okay. Next on the list here, Randall says, never approach a man. I want to 100% agree. Never approach a man. Never. Doesn't serve you. Jazz says, what's wrong with me? Is this Jazz from the YouTube chat? Is this that Jazz? Is this the Jazz that just donated actually? Because there was a Jazz that literally just donated. Is that you, Jazz? Please identify yourself. Okay, Jazz says, what's wrong with me? Hi, Tomisin. Thank you for all your advice you give us generously. Okay? Yeah, it is that, Jazz. Okay, so Jazz, I'm answering your question now. Hi, Tomisin. Thank you for all your help and advice you give us generously. I really appreciate you. I am a female in my early 50s, look 10 to 15 years younger than my age and newly single. Damn, you fire? Okay. I have a great life, job, and several hobbies, and am happy. Okay. I am healthy, fit, tall, smart. Damn, you got everything. You a cougar for real. Okay. Funny and with perky yitties and proportional dump truck. I love it. You clearly are an OG. Okay. I am not flexing, just saying what other people tell me. That's awesome. That's awesome. No, I love it. I love it. You got to big yourself up. If you're not going to big yourself up, then who is? I apply all your Players Club advice. Don't spill my guts on dates. Let them yap about themselves. Don't chase. Don't text too much. No pineapples. Black cat energy. Don't appear desperate, clingy, needy, etc. You really be listening. However, all these don't work for me, and I don't know why. Men love me. Okay, so they love you. Even the younger ones, okay, so all the men love you, but they disappear after a couple of dates or pineapples. Well, we've identified why the pineapples is a mistake, right? So when you're giving guys pineapples, why that will be a mistake. I am really tired of this pattern because I feel like it's a waste of my time and effort. And body, as you say, 100%. And I'm not looking to get married again or a relationship per se, but I crave a real connection. Okay, we've identified part of your problem. Friendship, touchy intimacy with someone else, not just Tracy's dog. Okay, we've identified part of your problem, Jazz. This is the first, you need to be listening up. Okay, the reason this is part of your problem and the issue that you've been suffering from, I know you're thinking, how does this affect the men that I'm dating, men that I'm seeing, because that has nothing to do with them wanting me. This is the issue. When you go, mindset is everything, because mindset will be what you end up outwardly projecting and then what you end up dealing with. When you go into a relationship or a situation or a dating stage, talk stage, whatever, unsure about what you're trying to extract from that experience, you will always be slightly confused about what the best course of action is, what the best type of response is, or how you should be approaching that situation or relationship. Why? Because you're unsure on what you're seeking. You're unsure on what the end goal or destination should be. You don't have clarity in terms of your destination, so you're constantly confused on how you're supposed to be getting there. What also ends up happening is you project outwardly energy as if you're confused about where this is supposed to be going. Now, I know that you're a woman, so obviously the men are supposed to be leading, theoretically, the relationship, but you have to understand you're the woman, so you set the pace of the relationship, you set the boundaries of the relationship, and you're the one that says, okay, if you want me and you want to pursue me, I know I'm only here for a serious long-term relationship or a serious whatever it may be, right? This is my destination, my end goal. So if you're not prepared to meet my criteria that's going to meet me at my destination and end goal, then you're wasting my time and you will not get access to me, right? So yes, he leads the relationship theoretically, but you pace the relationship in terms of he wants you, so he has to be willing to fit and mold himself to what you want in order to get access to you. He wants something from you. And I say all that to say one of the issues you're struggling from is a lack of understanding of what it is that you're looking for. So you're not, because what you just described is contradictory in its nature in itself. So this is essentially like the premise of everything you're doing, right? This is the foundation of everything you're doing, every response you give, every reaction you give, every approach you have is falling under this premise, this umbrella, and with this foundation, that you are not looking to get married again. So that's full stop, period, number one. So you don't want marriage. You're also not looking for a relationship per se. What does that really mean? See, now we've already started contradicting ourselves. You're not wanting to get married. Okay, that's one thing. You're also not looking for a relationship per se. That is confusion. That's not clarity. Because how can you be looking for a relationship, but also not looking for a relationship? It's either one or the other, right? That confusion is confusing you and the people who are trying to extract and approach you and pursue you on what it is they should even be doing here. Are you following me so far? Because you're saying that you crave a real connection. That's another full stop. That's another thesis. That's another premise or foundation in itself. I crave a real relationship. But that's also a little bit contradictory to I don't want to get married. That's also contradictory to I don't want a relationship. And I'm not looking for a relationship. But you want a real connection. So which one is it? Do you want a relationship? Or do you not? Because a relationship is a real connection, right? But also you can't have a real connection that doesn't end up being a real relationship. You're contradicting yourself. You also say you want friendship, right? Friendship is another full stop. So if you're just looking for friends, go out to an art class or something or to the gym and you can make friends in a Zumba class. Those are friends, right? But you're not looking for that type of friend. Okay. You're looking for a romantic type of friend, but you can't have romantic friends. Those are just romantic partners. Again, contradictory to everything else you've been saying. You want touch and intimacy, but you just finished saying you want friendship. How can that be friendship if there's touch and intimacy with someone and not just your Tracy's dog? So this whole premise here is a whole contradictory statement. This is not to diss you or anything, Jazz, but I need you to understand the confusion you're seeing in your relationships with men is actually less related to the men and more related to your own understanding of what it is you're looking for. You're not having clarity in what you're looking for. So when men approach you and say, I want you, what must I do? What standards and expectations must I meet to have you? You're confused on what you're even wanting them or what standards or expectations that you have yourself. So how can you communicate that to someone, or how can you set them straight, or how can they meet you in any place where you want them to be, or how can you get to any sort of destination when you're unsure about what the destination is that you're seeking in the first place? Okay, so example, in June last year, I asked my neighbor, a divorced male in his late 40s, to water my houseplants and keep an eye on my apartment while I was out of Canada for a few months. Okay, he did a good job letting me know regularly that how things were going. When I returned, we bonded over our mutual love of salsa dancing. Okay, he suggested a dance school and we were going to go there together to learn salsa every week. He was vulnerable with me and told me some things, some KINKSs that no one close to him knew about him, and I didn't judge him. After that, I felt I could be vulnerable with him too. We had a lot of great banter and also bonded over our similar experiences. Pineapple-less marriages with our exes, blaming us for everything and taking us for granted. So you're building a relationship here with your neighbor. Okay? Now, that's not a crime. I'm not saying you're a bad person for that. But then these are part of the things you have to be asking yourself, what am I actually seeking here? Is my neighbor supposed to be my friend? Or am I going into territory of attempting to build a romantic relationship with my neighbor? Because if you're attempting to build a romantic relationship with your neighbor, then this should just be a romantic relationship that you both explore. Don't confuse yourselves. Okay. I want to stay on this for a bit just because, Jazz, I used to be like you. I really did. I used to be like you, where I thought the best version of a relationship is where I don't discuss any standards or expectations and we just let things grow and develop into what they're supposed to be. Because there's too much boundaries or there's too much pressure when you go ahead and say, I'm here to build a romantic relationship with you, right? I used to be like you, where I wanted to be the cool kid. Right? I wanted to sit back and relax and be in my relationships with people where it's like, we're cool, we hang out, we're friends. It's not that serious, but like we like each other and things are going well, but we just let things flow. We don't worry about putting pressure on things or putting our relationship in a box. That's too restricting. We just let it flow and be who we're going to be and allow things to go where they're going to go. I used to think that too, and I used to think that was the best way to go about it. What I realized was that in the process of doing that, I always ended up shooting myself in the foot, because later on in the relationship, I would always have to go through a plethora of situations where there was confusion or misunderstanding, where I'm hurt or the other person's hurt. And all of that could have been avoided if we had a set of expectations and boundaries and standards from the very beginning. Because then we would be both very well aware of what was okay, what was not okay, what was crossing a line and what was not crossing a line. And we would have both avoided heartbreak, and even worse, right? Because this is what I realized ended up happening. A lot of the situations that you go through with that person are like things that you can't unsee or undo, or mistakes that can't be undone. And so those end up being detrimental to your ability to continue growing the relationship, right? And it's like, if I would have just known that that wasn't okay, or if we would have just had clarity on that beforehand, and we would have avoided making that mistake, whether it be on your part or my part, we would have actually been able to build this relationship into something. And so I actually ended up losing out on relationships because I didn't address the standards and expectations of the relationship from the very beginning. And just say, I find you romantically interesting. I want to build a romantic relationship with you. Right? I used to be like that. And I realized when I set those standards and expectations from the beginning, as soon as I know I'm trying to build a romantic relationship with you, I make it known. The other person makes it known, right? If they're okay with that, right? And we pursue a romantic relationship, not this half way stuff where we're chilling, we're hanging out, we're having fun, and then people are confused down the line, mistakes happen, and then it hinders your ability to actually build the rest of the relationship. And then you're just living with regret. You understand? We didn't text each other much between our weekly salsa classes because he was busy with work and his kids, and I was busy with my work and hobbies. We would catch up when we met for our classes. You then continue to say, one thing I've noticed about him is that he's insecure about his height. Okay. I'm taller than him. Also, we had a couple of breaks from salsa classes last winter. He would never check on me and how I was doing during those breaks, but always asked me why I didn't text him once we met for classes again. Okay, so this is part of the thing that I just discussed, right? When you don't set the standards or the expectations because you want to be the cool kid, where we just go with the flow and we just see how we feel about each other, type of thing, where we are invested in each other, but we're not romantic with each other, but it is romance sometimes, type of thing. Now you're wondering why he doesn't check in on you. But this is your neighbor. Your neighbor's not required to check in on you. But you also go to salsa dances together. But you're not in a relationship with the guy you're going to salsa dances with. So he doesn't owe you checking in on you. But you want him to check in on you because you want him to be invested in you. But you don't want him to be so invested in you that he wants you to be his girlfriend or his wife or anything like that. Because you're not looking to get married. It's a lot of confusion. Okay? Right? Because there's nothing wrong with wanting a guy who you want to be romantic with to check in on you. But expecting your neighbor to check in on you all the time is a totally different thing. Your neighbor's not obligated to check in on you. You understand what I'm saying? This is where you start having to draw lines and set boundaries and set expectations. Like he wanted me to chase him. Fast forward to junior, we went out to a nightclub. He was in a golden retriever. He's been in a golden retriever stage lately. We got a little tipsy, horrible idea, and had pineapples. Oh man, Jazz. It's a horrible mistake. You crossed the line with your neighbor, first of all. So how is this supposed to, now it's very awkward. That's your neighbor. And you crossed the line without having a clear understanding of where this is even supposed to be going. All you've been doing is going to salsa classes together with no clear understanding of what you're even doing here going to salsa classes, aside from just enjoying each other's company. Enjoying each other's company is not commitment. Enjoying each other's company is not a relationship. And the problem is you're not looking for a relationship either, but you're not looking for a guy to just use you and not speak to you. The problem is you can't have an in-between like that. If someone is truly invested in you, they're going to want to be committed to you and fully invested in you. If someone doesn't care about you, they're just going to utilize you up until it doesn't matter to them anymore. You can't have it where someone is truly committed to you, but not invested enough in you where they want to be fully committed to you. It just doesn't work like that. Okay? It wasn't planned. Of course not. Not from my side, at least. I'm glad you said that. So not from your side, at least. And we were confused. Confused is a good word. And confused is exactly what I would describe everything that you've been doing. Okay? It's not to diss you, but I have to be real with you if I'm going to help you. You are confused in what it is you're looking for, which is why your relationships resemble the same confusion going on in your mind. I tell you guys that you have to be figuring out what you want first for a reason. Even if you say you just want friends with benefits, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but that's what you should be approaching your relationships or situations as. I'm just here for personal pleasure and friends with benefits. So if I sleep with you, even if I enjoy it and you stop talking to me, I don't care. I'm only here for the pleasure. I don't care if you're attached to me. I don't care if you actually respect me. I don't care if you treat me right. It doesn't matter, right? But you have to resign yourself to that. Now, if you're going to be hurt by someone not showing you attention or not caring about you, well, then you're not really here for friends with benefits. You're here for connection. You're here for romance. You're here for a relationship. That's totally different. Honestly, I didn't feel much because everything happened so fast and it was over before I realized what's happening. He said he needed some time to process what just happened, so I didn't reach out to him. We don't go salsa anymore. Interesting how that all stops happening after you sleep together. Because of our busy summer schedules, convenient that the schedules became so busy after sleeping together. You're experienced enough, Jazz, to know that this is not a coincidence. After a couple of weeks, we met by coincidence in the front of our building. That was actually a coincidence, okay? That was actually one, meeting in the front of your building. He was with his male friend, hugged me, talked with me, introduced me to his friend. Today, after a month since pineapples and no contact. So he basically wants nothing to do with you, right? I saw him at a grocery store, but we pretended we didn't see each other. Now things are really awkward. This is horrible. I am very sad because he was a great friend to me who could talk to me about anything and who would help me with some small things in my home, changing light bulbs, carrying heavy bags, bringing parcels inside. All this makes me shut myself off from people and not trust anyone. Tomisin, please help me understand what happened with him and what I am doing wrong with this man in general because I am lost. I see other women respected, adored, and cherished by their men, and I am happy for them, but I am screaming inside, I want that too. Okay, I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said this last part, Jazz, right? Because you just acknowledge what you see other girls wanting and what you would desire to have. I see other women respected. You know what respected women do? They set boundaries and expectations, and they don't give themselves to men who are not properly invested in them. Okay? This is not to diss you, Jazz, but you're saying what you see other women get. And I'm helping you understand how you're not embodying what you're seeing other women get. You're talking about respect, but how do you expect a man to respect you when he sleeps with you? He's your neighbor. He sleeps with you on one random night when you guys get tipsy together after going to a few salsa nights with him and never committing himself to you or telling you that he even wants to build a relationship with you. How do you expect that man to in turn respect you? How do you expect that man to adore you? You haven't shown yourself to be someone of value that is to be respected or to be cherished. You've shown yourself to be someone that he can come over, spend casual time with, have fun with. It's part of the reason why I tell you should never be interested in being a fun girl. Fun girls always lose. They think that the interest they're experiencing from men is real interest. And I'm trying to tell them it's lustful interest. When you're a fun girl, you're getting lustful interest. So while it might feel good for a bit, it's very short-lived. Because the moment the lust is gone, they stop caring about you altogether. So you're talking about you see other women respected, adored, and cherished, but you're not showing yourself to be someone who's worthy of being respected or adored or cherished. Now, I'm not saying that you're not, like, you can't have that or you shouldn't have that, but you have to understand, you have to present yourself that way to receive that from people. And part of your issue, like I mentioned from the very beginning, is that you're unsure what it is you're even looking for. So you're unsure how to specify if you want me. This will only come under a particular set of circumstances and in a particular type of situation under a particular set of expectations for you, the man, right? And you're giving yourself away to men for nothing. Yes, he went to salsa classes with you, but he never told you he was here to build a romantic relationship with you, nor did he express that or show you that he was ready to do that. Aside from going to salsa dances with you, there was no real intention to build a long-lasting relationship with you. So you just ended up wasting time with him unsure about where this was meant to be going until you finally slept together and he came to the remember I don't know if you've been here, Jazz, for long enough and you saw the show that I did a couple of days ago where I talked about why guys show interest and then they disappear. And part of the thing that I mentioned is what I call pre-nut confusion. So it's the opposite of post-nut clarity, where guys will be confused. They'll get their wires crossed because they'll think they're showing interest in you because they actually are interested in you, not realizing that they're only showing interest in you because they're horned up. And you make them horned up, and their desire to sleep with you is what's making them show interest in you. So oddly enough, I think in his case, he was interested in going to salsa lessons with you because he found you physically attractive. Right? And he thought maybe to himself, I'm showing my interest in you and an interest in getting to know you because I'm actually interested in you. When in reality, he was more interested in sleeping with you. And he only realized that once he finally slept with you, that it was all about sleeping with you. And he had no desire to go to salsa with you, no desire to do anything else with you once he finally slept with you. It was all about being horned up. Pre-nut confusion. Once he gets his post-nut clarity, now he realizes he has no real interest in you. Salsa dances aren't that interesting. Having long chats with you isn't that interesting. Connecting with you isn't that interesting. And the only way you can get what you want, because what you're really looking for, you're looking for a real, honest, true, deep connection and relationship, right? And you're not looking for marriage. And you want to be a cool kid where you don't want to specify that this is a romantic relationship that's meant to be treated seriously and meant to be taken care of, because you want to be a cool kid that just goes with the flow and we get to know each other and we love each other despite not being fully committed with each other. This is part of this is no diss, but this is part of the problem with the poly community. I support anyone living their life how they want to live their life, but I've noticed that a lot of people either come to me or complain about the experiences they're having in the poly community. Not that you're a part of the poly community, Jazz, but it just in similar fashion, they think to themselves, I just want to be free. I just want to experience people. I just want to connect with everyone. And that's what the human experience is about, connecting and loving everyone. Sounds good in a movie, but when it comes down to it, you realize that connecting with everyone also means that the people that you love and are invested in will sleep with other people. They'll also have stronger connections with other people than they do with you. And sometimes you're going to feel like you're being left on the back burner. You're going to feel like you finish in last place. You're going to feel like you're the least important person to someone who is the most important person to you. And that doesn't feel good to anybody. I don't care how poly you are. Okay, I don't care how evolved you think you are. It doesn't feel good to anyone to feel like you're playing second fiddle to someone else to a person that you feel you're so emotionally invested in and you is your number one. Okay, and that's part of the issue is, while you want to say, oh, I want to just connect right with everyone and everyone, it's just free flowing and this and that, and you want to be the cool girl, you still want to be someone's number one. You still want to be respected by someone, adored by someone, and cherished by someone. You want to be treated as their number one. If you're going to do that, you need to set standards, expectations, and boundaries so that they respect you and approach you as they would approach a priority. You have to make men approach you as a priority if you want to be their priority. You can't allow them to approach you as something mundane and fly by night and then expect them to treat you like a priority. It does not work like that. And I have a whole show on how to get treated like a priority and not an option. So you should watch that. Okay. I know I spent a lot of time on this, Jazz, but that's honestly because I used to be like you. And I don't want you to have to continuously go through this and be frustrated, because I know how frustrating this can be and I know where it ends up, which is why I changed my approach. And when I changed my approach, my relationships were a lot better and stronger and had a lot less confusion and misunderstandings. Okay, Jazz? All right. I hope you got some value there. Next we have, let's do a couple more. Next we have here, we just did doll, sorry. Okay. Hazel Rocks. Okay. Hazel Rock says, will he come back? Is there any hope for us? Hey, Tomisin, I love your channel. Love you too. I'm 22, met a guy who's also 22 at a match. April. What do you mean a match? Like a wrestling match? Wrestling match, guys? He forced me, he forced me. He followed me on Insta and asked me out. I refused and asked to be friends instead. Huh? I confused. Okay. Had a convo over call, but wasn't feeling it, so I ignored him and his attempts to meet for 3 to 4 months. Okay. I mean, you didn't like the guy. Nothing, not a crime there. 5 months after we met, we finally agreed in September. 5 months after we met, finally agreed in September. Met around 10 times after in a course of 3 months, consisting of letting me know max 3 days prior and also picking up and dropping me home. Okay. So I would hope, Hazel, for the rest of this show, for the rest of this story, you never try to start pursuing him, because clearly he put in a lot of work to get you on a single date. Keep your power. I hope you did. I hope you kept your power. His place is 45 minutes away from mine, with convos lasting 4 to 5 hours long. I canceled a couple times as well. He paid for all our outings. Out of 10, 2 in January ended up in me asking to go to his place. Nothing happened. Okay. Our convos were mostly me asking him questions. He talks, I listen. Now he straight up asked after I had gone to his place if he should have kissed me, talking about he wants a commitment. There was a lot of tension between us. Gave his phone, gave me his phone password, my Face ID on his phone, his Snap and Insta password by then. Wow. He gave you his phone password. You have his Face ID that you can unlock his phone with your face, and he have his Snap and his Insta password. How long has this been? See, this is okay. This is heavy pursuit. This is good though. This is heavy pursuit. You never let go of your grip on a man when you have this much power over him. I know it sounds horrible, but this is where you have to be thinking, I should do absolutely nothing. He's doing all the pursuing, all the chasing. He wants me so bad. He literally can't stop thinking about me. The more you do nothing, the better it gets for you. I hope so much, Hazel, for your sake, that you didn't switch this up and start chasing him instead. I hope. Please, just for me, please. I was scared of committing, so I put it off. Nothing wrong. He's going to continue chasing. Do nothing. Reassured me he's not the kind of guy to F around while being in a relationship. He's really trying to prove himself. This is so good for you. Then we met. He kissed me. But on the next, I lost control and slept with him. Why, Hazel? Why would you do this to me? Hazel, why would you do this to me? You had him, Hazel, you had him. You were getting everything you wanted. Oh my God. He gave you his Insta password, his Snap password. You had the Face ID. You had the phone password. You got everything you wanted. Why would you give it away? Why? You had all the power. You had all the control. All you had to do was sit around and do nothing. Oh my God. He wanted to give you the world. The world. Hazel, why would you do this? Why would you do this to me? I just don't get it. I don't understand. I really don't, man. And I'm not messing around. I don't understand. When you have this much power and a man is giving, like, where does the anxiety stem from? That it makes me so frustrated. It really does. Because, like, you have to understand the function of you being a woman is that he wants you. And the thing about it is, a lot of you are like, damn, I wish I could get adored. I wish I could get cherished. Just like Jazz said earlier, right, in the message before, she wants to be adored and cherished by men. But the thing about it is, a lot of you get discombobulated when a man actually shows you, like, worships you, adores you, and cherishes you, because then you start thinking to yourself, okay, now I owe you something. Now I must give you something in return. I can't just allow you to continue pursuing me without giving you something in return. This means that I must commit myself to you as well. I must do the absolute most for you as well. No. In fact, if you keep the dynamic exactly where it's at and you do nothing for him, you'll be perfectly fine. God, you have to understand, when men are pursuing you this heavy and they want you this badly, part of what they enjoy is the hunger they feel towards you to continue pursuing you this heavy, right? And this strongly. It makes them feel like a freaking hunter. You understand? It makes them feel alive, like they're a man, like they're doing something. They're going out and they're hunting the deer and they're getting it. They're getting it done. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that makes him feel like a man to pursue you and get you. Do you understand? I'm so serious. So when you give yourself, like, when you feel like, oh, now you're pursuing me, I must give you something. No, give him nothing. Okay? Especially when you say that you lost control and slept with him, you're admitting that this was not the right time or time period to be doing that. Okay? Because I'm not saying you should never sleep with the man who pursues you, but there's a time and place for that. And that time and place, especially as heavy as he's saying he wants this commitment, that time and place doesn't need to happen until he finally fully commits to you. Okay? Because he's showing you, I don't care if you kiss me. I don't care if you sleep with me. I don't care if you even let me touch your feet. I want you so badly. I'm going to make you my girlfriend. I don't even need a promise of any of that. So why give him any of that? Do you understand? Said he loves me. I didn't. Sorry. Wait, what? He said he loves you and you didn't. Got committed. All this happened within 2 weeks. Slept with him 3 times. Wait, what? What? So you said, I'm glitching. So you said, okay, so by the time you finally met him, this was 2 weeks that this lasted. Maybe I think I'm guys, I'm misreading the timelines. No, this is a course of 3 months. But this period where you slept with him and he said he loves you happened within 2 weeks. Okay, that makes more sense. Slept with him 3 times, but I started to feel him withdraw. You've put me in pain, Hazel, because to hear you get so many great, amazing things, to hear you get everything that you've been wanting, and in a silly mistake where you just get carried away to just be in a position where now the guy is no longer showing you that same interest. It's painful for me. And I can't even jump out the window and say that he was never interested in you. You just have to understand that there's a right time and place to finally let the fireworks go and finally let him discover, I was investing in you all this time. And now that I've been investing in you all this time, I've actually earned being able to sleep with you by committing myself to you, right? There's a time and place. But doing it too soon before he's ready and before he's actually committed to you will always, well, I shouldn't say always, but majority of the time will lead to him not being as interested in you anymore. Then on FaceTime, while he was drunk, He was a regular drinker. That's another issue in itself. Found out he had cheated on his ex he used to call crazy with a friends with benefits. He called her a rich bee who lived abroad but had just come back. Very weird confession. These are part of the things that I wish you could have gotten him to confess before you slept with him. You see why I always tell you guys, pace yourselves. I know that each guy you meet is going to feel like the new best next Prince Charming. But if you just wait long enough, you'll learn some things about him that are not so amazing. Not to say that everyone's horrible, but I promise you, not everyone's going to be perfect. So the faster you can discover what's not so perfect about them, the faster you can bring yourself back down to earth, which is good. Then you can start being rational. Fellow friends with benefits, right after we stopped, by now, I was very emotional and emotionally invested, but left. Had his private Insta, Had his private Insta and saw him follow his friends with benefits right after we stopped talking. How are you putting yourself in this type of pain? Texted me, I miss you, didn't respond. Didn't speak for 4 months after, unfollowed him. He watched my stories, also followed, and then unfollowed when I didn't follow back. In June, he texted me at 4 a.m. an apology about about things he said while drunk. Texted him better to speak over the phone, then decided against it. Did end up sending him a long paragraph and blocked him. Want him to beg. What? Guys, make a decision. If you want to hear him out, that is not a crime. Then just hear him out. If you don't want to speak to him, then just do not speak to him. Okay? So if he apologized to you, says, I was drunk, this and that, say, okay. Right? If he says, yeah, I was drunk, I want to prove to you that I'm serious with you. Okay. I want to prove to you that I'm serious because by taking you out on a date, can we go out somewhere on Friday night? Are you free on Friday at 9 p.m. next week? Yeah, I'm free that day. Okay. And you go out on a date. All you have to continue saying is, if you want to prove to me something, if you want to prove to me that you want me, if you want to prove to me that the serious with me, okay. You don't need to block him, unblock him, follow him, unfollow him, do all this weird stuff. And if you're doing that because you're done with him, then actually just be done with him, meaning block him and don't unblock him. Okay? Because all of this stuff you're doing just makes you look weak and unsure about yourself and what you want. If you're willing to hear him out, that's not a crime, but then actually just hear him out. If you don't want to hear what he has to say, then actually just block him and don't hear what he has to say. Don't confuse yourself and him. Okay? Right? Because giving you a confession is not a crime, and sleeping with you when you allowed him to sleep with you consensually is not a crime. So if you don't like how things have shaped out after you slept with him and made some mistakes, that's kind of on you more than it is on him. Okay? Update, I also wanted to add certain things because I don't know about the word limit. I had made some mistakes I shouldn't have. My biggest regret is obviously the pineapples part, because even though I love pineapples, what do I always tell you all? Go get you the Tracy's Dog sucking vibe so that you can relieve yourself of the pressure you feel when you're with someone that you have an emotional connection to. Because the deeper the emotional connection you have to that guy and the longer time you spend around him, the more you guys touch and feel up on each other, your squirtle's going to become so lubricated. Your mind's going to go places that are so intense and so strong, you won't be able to control yourself or hold yourself back. Have you noticed how many people's messages in our Discord will say, I literally lost control? Or I sleep with this guy that I know I shouldn't be. I don't have self-control. I cannot stop myself. They're not even saying, majority of the messages aren't even saying he pressured me or he convinced me or whatever. He talked me up into doing it. They're literally saying, I literally don't have control over myself. I can't help myself. I can't stop myself. It's part of the reason why I say, go get you that vibe so that you can Ease yourself out. Go get you two, three orgasms before you go out on this date, so that you can be at a little bit at ease by the time you show up on this date, and the pressure won't be so built up inside you. Because for you, it's not about finding the guy attractive. For you, it's about building the deeper and deeper emotional connection. And the deeper and deeper the emotional connection is, the more lubricated you're going to become. So it's like every time you're seeing him, and every time you guys are spending time together and being more closer emotionally and intimately, getting more emotionally and intimately closer, emotionally and mentally closer, then your Squirtle is going to become more and more lubricated until you literally can't control yourself anymore, right? Especially if you're someone like Hazel who already loves pineapples. It's going to be a horrible combination for you, okay? I'm not a casual person at all, of course, right? Second, I realized I shouldn't have replied to that apology 4 months later in the first place. Exactly, because if you don't want to speak to him, then you don't want to speak to him. Don't entertain him. I know for sure he was having pineapples with his friends with benefits more than one. During this time. I really want your insight on what should I do now, whether I should unblock him because I blocked him and then just leave it at that. I think for your own sake, right? You've identified that you don't really want to build something with him and this is done. Just keep him blocked, okay? If you don't think this is going anywhere, or this isn't in line with this is why I say you have to know what you want. If this isn't in line with what you want and what you think is what you want in line with what you want, then you have to admit that this relationship or situation has run its course. Okay? Because I do think 4 months later, I mean, you're just kind of doing a thing where you're going back and forth. And I think at this point, if it's been 4 months since you spoke to him, I don't think it's that pressing for you that you even wanted him that badly anyways, okay? So my honest advice would you to just keep him blocked. Don't entertain him. Don't speak to him again, okay? Not because I don't think, I know for you, what's putting you in pain is the thought that you did sleep with him and you're feeling like maybe I can salvage this. That is the problem with sleeping with guys, because the moment you do, you start thinking, I just need to salvage this so I don't waste the body. But the reality of it is, if this relationship has shown itself to not serve you anymore, or not be in line with what you're looking for, or for whatever reason just rubs you the wrong way, you have to be willing to let it go, or else you'll just continue wasting more and more and more time. Okay, Hazel? All right, guys. That is the show for today. I tried to get through as many Discord questions as I possibly could get to, all right, today. And so I hope I caught up on some, and I hope some of you got some real good answers there, all right? That was a special edition of Saturday. By the way, if you guys have any other suggestions of things you want to see or things you want to hear in the Players Club, please go into the Discord in the general chat and mention some of the things that you would love to see in the Players Club Discord. I'll be more than willing to entertain them and talk with you guys and chat with you guys about those things. All right, guys? So obviously it's the weekend. I won't be here tomorrow because it is the weekend, and I'm back here on Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we'll meet again and we'll talk about love, life, and relationships. For those of you who want to follow me on Instagram and you want to see everything that I'm doing, you want to know me on a more personal level, my Instagram's right on top of my head there on the left side of the screen, where you can follow me on Instagram there. And for those of you who are on YouTube, it's right at the bottom right of the screen there. And you can follow me on Instagram and see everything I've been up to until I came in front of you today. And then for those of you who are on TikTok and you want to rewatch the show, you want to rewatch other episodes of the Players Club to see other things that we talk about. Maybe you're new here. Maybe it's your first time here. Okay, you're in for a treat. Just head over to my YouTube channel. It's right above your head on the right side of the screen. You can screenshot this, or you can just type my name in on YouTube. You'll find that. You go into the live section and you'll be able to see this live stream along with all the other live streams that I've ever done until the beginning of time on my YouTube page. And the best part is you'll get the YouTube chat and the TikTok chat embedded in the video, so you won't miss a beat on what conversation is being had throughout the show. Okay, guys? All right. I will see you on Monday, bright and early at 4 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll discuss again love, life, and relationships. Until then, au revoir, arrivederci, adios, see you later, sayonara, and I will see you on Monday. Bye for now. I love you so much. Have a great, safe weekend. Safe weekend.